we find our way. It's a beautiful place where
All right, good people,
greatness
and a
holds
happy
sway.
Sunday to all.
In the heart
I
of
wish that you have a
Aqua
great
People,
day.
we find our strength. The land of resilience, where
Happy
hope has no
weekend.
legs. Learning each day from the young to the old. Our minds empowered, our stories to be told.
Beautiful day, everyone.
From the young to the old, our minds empowered, our stories to be told. We find our strength, the land of resilience, where hope has no land. Learning each day from the young to the old, our minds empowered, our stories to be told.
Well, today I have some incredible true story of renting a wife. It is true that you can rent a wife in some countries. It seems that some people are not aware. A sister dropped a message this morning and asked me, is it true that women can be rented as wives? Yes, it is true that in some countries you can rent a wife. It sounds so hard to be true. So that's why I welcome my co-host on this program as a woman. I want to ask her first, how do you feel to hear that in some countries women are being rented to visitors as wife? Maybe you rent for 3 days, you rent for a week, you rent for a month. You just rent a wife. And I believe in your life, maybe your resume, or you call it CV, you'll be proud to say, I rented a wife somewhere in Oron. And this is her name, and this is her photo. So, it is actually true that just like you rent a car, in some occasions, people rent clothes. Sometimes they rent a house. It is true that in some countries, you can rent a wife, a fine woman, for a week or a month. And then you return it back to where you rent her when the service ended. And what are the occasions you can rent this woman? But before we go deeply into this program, the Sparkle, Saturday Sparkle, I will allow my dear sister, Arid Basi, to introduce herself and welcome our listeners.
Hello, listeners. Good evening, good morning, based on your location. I am Arit Basi. Happy weekend. I welcome you all to this program and a happy listening. Thank you.
Do you believe that some countries rent women for visitors?
Doctor, it's really surprising that I'm hearing this for the first time because it's surprising to me because hearing this that a woman can be rented to a man for 2 to 3 days or a week based on the duration of the agreement. It's really surprising because to me, what I know about could be easily rented out. Maybe like an accommodation, an event center. But coming to talk about a woman being rented as what? I don't really get it.
In
How did we get here?
some countries have a policy. They said that they rent women to harness women's economic potential. That's what it means. It's about harnessing women's economic potential. So they rent women out. Okay, let's for example say a man come to rent you now. Tell me about yourself. For maybe for a month.
Oh, how could I even? As in, it will be kind of a shocking story to me that somebody will come to tell me I want to rent you. Not even a contract because I know I used to hear about a contract marriage and not rent. How could one just rent out a woman? And what is the motive behind this rent? And what if in the process of renting this woman now fall in love deeply with you? What would you do in that aspect?
Um, it's a very good question. Yes. In some cases, like my Igbo brothers will say, you buy market now, you don't buy market.
Yes, because if this woman now falls in love with you deeply, and you now say, I just rented you, and this. And if at the process maybe pregnancy setting, it's not the woman won't even talk about rent at that point again.
What
Because
we are talking,
for a woman to even accept herself to be rented out to a man, that woman herself also has her own ulterior motives. Yes, because if it, especially like I said, a man that she loves, there will be problem. By the time they will say rent expired or I quit, the woman will not want to quit.
that is, I think there is, or should I say, there are terms and conditions.
Okay.
There are terms and conditions before you engage in anything rental. There are some
Mm-hmm.
documents to sign. And if
Mm.
anything, uh, maybe you rent a car and then at the point you say you pay interest in buying that car, you have to change the terms of agreement. So if you
Okay.
travel to a country where you rent a wife for 1 week
Mm.
or maybe for 1 month, and then the woman loves you and maybe believed that the terms and conditions of renting her should be changed. You have to involve the partners and the legal luminaries involved.
Doctor, please, can I ask a question? Because
Go
you
ahead and
cited
ask your question.
some good examples. Let's assume in the case of, because we're talking about renting.
Renting a wife.
What if, let's assume, I want to cite an example on a chair that you rented 50 chairs from me. Then along the line, maybe about 5 got broken. You know, you have to buy and replace based on the condition the owner gives you. So it's either you buy the item or you pay in cash. So in the aspect of renting a woman, anything falls apart. So how would
And
that
the leg,
replacement be done?
maybe the leg is
How would
broken.
the replacement be done? Yes, because it has to do with human being.
You are asking a good question here. Before you rent a wife, like I said before, the terms and conditions apply, and you will read everything. Maybe in case she lost her eyes, maybe she lost her leg, and anyway, let's watch a video to listen to an analyst that will explain some of these countries that rent women and how you go about it. So, in case you travel to any of these countries, they can rent you. So be careful of where.
No,
where
no,
be
I
careful
refuse
of
to be rented. I'm not an apartment. I'm not. No.
be careful of where you are traveling to, because many countries rent women. Okay, let's go.
Essentially rent a wife for money? That's right. In countries like Japan, South Korea, China, Russia, India, Thailand, and Ukraine, there exists a practice where women are paid to provide companionship and domestic services. It goes by different names, from enjo kosai and live-in girlfriends to wife rental or wife leasing. A peculiar yet fascinating phenomenon, isn't it? Let's dive into these cultures to understand this surprising practice better. Starting off in Japan, where this practice is known as enjo kosai. Essentially, this term translates to compensated dating, where young women offer companionship and domestic services to older men for financial compensation. While the concept may seem unusual to many outside of Japan, it's important to understand the societal and economic factors that contribute to its prevalence. Japan's high living costs and the societal pressure to maintain a certain lifestyle often drive young women to seek additional income through enjo kosai. Meanwhile, for the older men, it's not just about having someone to do the housework. It's also about alleviating the loneliness that can come with age. However, enjo kosai has sparked a debate within Japanese society. Some view it as a harmless exchange between consenting adults. Others see it as a form of exploitation, blurring the lines between a legitimate job and the world's oldest profession. From Japan, we move to our next country, South Korea. In South Korea, a similar practice goes by the term live-in girlfriends or live-in partners. This arrangement involves women being paid to live with men, perform domestic chores, and offer emotional support. It's a fascinating concept, isn't it? Now you might be wondering, why is this practice prevalent? Well, for many men, it's a way to enjoy the benefits of a partner without the commitment of marriage. This allows them to bypass societal expectations and pressures associated with matrimony. And how is this perceived in society? It's a mixed bag, really. While some view it as a practical solution to loneliness and the need for domestic support, others see it as a controversial workaround to traditional relationships. But as they say, different strokes for different folks. This is just one of the many ways societies adapt to changing times and needs. Moving on, we now head to China. In China, men can hire a woman as a wife rental. This intriguing practice is a fascinating part of the societal fabric, a reflection of the changing dynamics of relationships in the country. The concept of wife rental is essentially about hiring a woman to act as a partner, providing companionship and performing domestic duties. But why is this phenomenon so prevalent? One reason is the considerable financial burden tied to marriage in China, where societal norms often dictate that the man must provide a house, car, and considerable dowry. By contrast, wife rental offers companionship without such hefty financial responsibilities. Perceptions of the practice vary. Some see it as a practical solution to loneliness and financial constraints, while others view it with skepticism and concern over the commodification of relationships. Regardless of opinion, wife rental undeniably offers a unique glimpse into modern Chinese society. From China, we now head to Russia. In Russia, India, Thailand, and Ukraine, we again find the concept of wife rental, or wife leasing. This intriguing practice involves women being paid to provide companionship, perform domestic duties, and essentially be a man's partner without the binding commitment of marriage. In Russia, this practice is seen as a pragmatic solution for men who desire companionship without the financial burden of a traditional marriage. The women involved in wife leasing, often driven by economic necessity, offer their domestic and emotional services in exchange for financial security. Moving on to India, the concept of live-in partners or live-in girlfriends has been gaining traction in recent years. This arrangement, while still considered taboo in some sections of society, is seen by others as a practical solution for men who wish to avoid the responsibilities and obligations that come with marriage. The women involved, often from less privileged backgrounds, view this as an opportunity to provide for themselves and their families. In Thailand, the wife rental phenomenon is quite prevalent, particularly among the country's wealthier men. The women involved in these arrangements are typically from poorer regions, seeking better life opportunities. This practice, while controversial, is seen by some as a mutually beneficial arrangement that allows men to fulfill their needs without the pressures of conventional marriage. Finally, in Ukraine, wife leasing is a practice that has its roots deeply embedded in the country's economic and social landscape. Here, too, women offer their companionship and domestic services to men who prefer the flexibility of such arrangements over the commitments of traditional marriage. While these practices may seem unusual from a Western perspective, they are a reflection of the unique cultural, social, and economic circumstances of these countries. For the women involved, it's often a choice driven by economic necessity, while for the men, it's about companionship without the commitments of marriage.
All right. Before we continue,
I just remembered.
let me read a message from Dr. Unjum. Dr. Unjum says, "It is true for some places, yet speak volumes about the state of poverty as well the state of spiritual poverty, because such things go unnoticed, because no one needs to know, nor no one cares." Thank you, Brother Rankin, for bringing to the fore. Dr. Unjum, thank you for, in fact, for supporting this program. So, to the people that sent me the message this morning, and Utibasi, you sent a message to me this morning, if it is true. So I am not only confirming it, but you can be rest assured that this practice is very true in some countries. It helps the men to avoid what is called the stress of marriage, where you don't have a background, a foundation. You say nothing. You know you are being rented. If you talk or shout, somebody will cancel the rental services and you go away. So you have to behave.
Mm. Eh?
And so wife,
Oh,
wife,
doctor,
when
I
I know how you feel. I know, I know how you feel. I know how you feel. So renting a wife is my mama is in the house. So let's welcome Bishop Jen Melu. So
uh,
this country rents women, and in Ukraine it is called leasing. If you look at those men, you can see they are smiling and they are very happy. And then you listen to the commentator. The commentator says they are renting women to men for emotional support. Emotional support. Thank you, Mama. I love you too. So they are renting
ah,
women. Okay, go ahead, ask your question. If I cannot answer,
okay,
our mommy
doctor.
Winjom is here.
Actually, I just remembered that 3 days ago, as I was just flipping through my Facebook page, and I saw one video that hiring daddy. Actually, the lady is a single mother. Then she now chooses to go and hire a man to perform the duty of a father to the son. I think the son should be about 5, 4 or 5 thereabouts. So along the line, she exchanged her house key in the duty of a father to the boy, while she herself is not close to the guy. So at some point, the son gets so attached to the man he brought to perform the duty of a father. So there were some times that the guy will come in very early to prepare the boy to go to school. So she morning and saw the guy and the son while he was dressing up the baby boy. They were just laughing, talking. So as she bashed into the room, she was like, when did he come in? The guy now said, you forgot you gave me the key. You know, the question looked suspicious to the young boy. He said, oh. And you didn't even say good morning to mommy. It was the guy that now told the boy, say mommy good morning. And I say, mommy good morning. Oh, you didn't miss me. No, daddy gives me all the attention. So what I'm trying to say in essence is this: what if in the process of renting, hmm, because when we talk about rent, you must have your own test. Let's assume you want to rent an event center for an occasion. You have what you really want in mind. Then you know you cannot, or they cannot just give you anyhow place. So in a situation that they want to rent me to a man that is not my spec, yes, you know, women talk about spec, class, level. So can I just go in for anything because it is the process of rent?
Okay. Let's go back to the words of Dr. Unjum that really touches me. A very wonderful Christian brother. Dr. Unjum emphasizes on spiritual poverty more than the physical poverty. So when we talk about spiritual poverty here, the world is indeed lacking behind, especially this generation, where the Apostle Paul addresses this issue in his writings, that here comes a generation that will love money more than their soul. And then if you look at this scripturally, there is a background statement that should cause anyone to think about the whole thing going on in the world today. And one
Sure.
striking passage that touches me every day deeply, when I look at all the skyscrapers and all this get rich quick syndrome that Women, men are running all over the world for businesses and all these things. And then you carefully look at the words of Jesus. He said, "For what shall it profit a man, even if he owns the whole world? Or okay, what shall we give in exchange for our own
Our lives.
soul?" And so you look at what men prevail now. It's going to be a selective process. You are just a woman. I believe in this culture, might be you don't have a say. It is the person that rents you that have a say in this. It's the person that will make a choice. Just take, for example, I've rented a car before. I won't just go into a car stand to rent any car. I love the color. I must check everything inside the car. Okay, the commentator says that most of these women are rented for emotional issues as partners, and involve domestic, emotional, and so many things that I can't speak here. So a woman is rented. Remember what happens to Esau and the porridge yam. So it's like the world is not paying attention to humanity anymore. It's like women are being subdued to become second-class citizens of the human race, the way it is. Some cultures are saying that they are harnessing women economic potential. And how can you interpret that? What do they mean by harnessing a woman's economic potential? Think about it. How does that sound? The leaders are happy about it, but what about the victims? A rental thing can be mismanaged, mishandled.
That's my concern.
And the only thing here is you pay for damages, and some men are willing to do that.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe there is any special protection in this, because these people are visitors. They enter a city and then they look for a wife to rent. Who will cook? Who will serve them emotionally? Who will serve them? In fact, I've never seen agreement of this nature. I don't know how to explain it, but I still believe in the words of Dr. Unjum that it is true for some places. Years speak volumes about the state of poverty, as well the state of spiritual poverty. This is a big statement, a very great statement from a wonderful man here, because such things go unnoticed. And look, this is not called prostitution. It's not called prostitution. And in your lifetime, you will always remember that in your life you have rented a wife. Whether you like it or not, it goes into your spiritual record by God.
Yes.
So
And doctor,
I know you have a lot
you
of
know,
questions.
this
Uh,
this question,
I wish some women can join you.
because it's really sounding somehow so irritating, because from the look of things with this very act, it therefore means some men are not even willing to get married because they believe I can go in for renting, use for 1 or 2 weeks, return and change the venue. Yes, because the women now becomes venue, whereby you can change your venue to any venue of your choice. Yes, that is what it means. So marriage, anything calls marriage, does not occur to them. And this set of people would never plan to settle down in their lives because they will be living rent. continue changing venue from one venue to the other.
I am busy laughing because your prayer should be, let this wife renting not enter Africa. You know, whatever is being promoted elsewhere, as soon as that thing enters into Africa, it will reach the climax of it. But if you look well at those pictures, if you were able to watch the video very well, look at those pictures, the men renting these women are on top of their world. They are very happy, they are smiling, they are laughing because this woman, being a rented person, has been taught or trained on how to live with this man. I'm sure even if it's something they should be angry, they don't have to show that. They don't have to frown because they will lose their business, and maybe the company that support them will blacklist them if there is a next customer coming. So now, we men are very happy about this. The way I have seen these things and read about it, men are very happy because I will go with the word of the commentator again. He said
They don't have
that
anything to
this
lose.
has helped so many men to escape marital responsibilities.
Bam, that is the point.
So,
That is the point. They don't have anything to lose. All you have, in fact, you don't have a say, is to carry out the assignment of rent you came for. You must act accordingly.
so uh,
God have
I
mercy.
am I am just wondering, maybe do you think I should start a wife rental in Nigeria?
No, we don't want it. No. We want to properly get married and be in our own husband's house. We are not venues to be
But
renting.
the world is against marriages now. The world doesn't want marriage to exist.
We want it. We want
No. Very soon, the word
for
wife
the
and
renting
husband is,
business.
the word husband and wife is fast disappearing. What the new things going on now is partner. They call it partner. They are changing the system. In fact, one time I have seen a publication that men who calls women wives should be apologizing to them because such things do not exist. So what they are trying to do is, they said the right word now is partner. It's like the issue of a father and mother. They are changing it. They call it birth parents. So if you check some document now, you will see that it's no longer your father first name, your mother's first name is birth parents. Because you don't know, the government might soon give you another kind of parents. And they might even believe that they are not your birth parents. So very soon you will not call somebody your father, you will not call somebody your mother. They don't want to hear that again. So this is the globalist handwork. And we happen to find ourselves in a very terrible war. And my prayer is that I won't be lost the way this thing is going. I pray that I won't be lost. Because some of the languages we have used before this time, those languages are fast disappearing. Nobody want to hear it again. I have told you the word husband and wife is to disappear, and partner takes over in some document. If you do some paperwork, you will see that the name of your partner, not husband and wife. And then if you check some documents again, children are not as your father's name, your mother's name. Those things are disappearing, and that has given room to birth parents. your bed parents. So that is the new world, maybe new world order, whatever they call it. I don't know. But
Mm.
what I'm sharing here is women are now being rented. You can rent for 6 months. If you the way I see it, if you try for a week and that one display an exemplary and extraordinary attitude or character, you might renew the rent. You might,
Renew the payment. You renew the payment.
of course, of course,
God have mercy. God have mercy.
of course. Like I also study. There is a country that you rent a girlfriend for $100 a day or two, and then everything happening to her. Maybe there is an insurance that is covering her. Might be the rental person is not the one paying it. The insurance will cover. Because most of these things, the insurance companies are involved.
But doctor, I will call this a guy's way of prostitution. But they said it's not. Yes,
No,
it's not.
legally, the name doesn't say prostitution. Because you have a document, you sign that you have rented Dandy
Right.
Elumo. You have rented, Dandy Elumo rented you last week as a wife for 3
No.
days.
I refuse to be rented. I refuse to be rented.
Maybe this is going to be a new prayer point.
I refuse to be rented because I am not an event center.
I don't know. I don't know if it's about event center or not, but women are being rented. And now, so far, so good. 6 or 8 countries are in it. And so it's gradually becoming a normal norm. A
I
generation
pray it will
comes.
not get to our country.
I don't want to say, but maybe I will be the one who will register with Corporate Affairs Commission. And
Because
then
if anything comes to our country, it is usually trending like it has never happened before. Is a do or die. No, let it not
but
get to
people
our
are
own
hearing
country.
people are hearing us now.
Yes. No.
People are hearing us now. You don't know who is thinking about this business right now as they're hearing us.
Oh.
So this is a lucrative business. And then you
It's
will
not.
be taught. No, you see, I say you will be taught on the modalities. What is expected of you as a rental wife? I think there are 3 categories: a rental girlfriend, a rental wife, and so you also have a rental husband. So now, whoever you are renting will read the rules and regulation.
It's not okay by you.
The date you return is also there.
Mm.
And you signed. So being a legal issue now enables your rented person to behave well. Because if it was marriage, they will not behave. So so under this rental agreement, I think your father is not involved, your mom is not involved. I believe that Amugwo is not involved, Nkokoman is not involved. I still believe that pay a visit to my father Christmas, my mom, all those things. So here, men escape the bondage, the stress of marriage. And so they have a woman as in their house. And they love everything they are doing there. So anyway, we didn't intend to stay long. Uh, it's like you are still recovering from the shock of hearing this.
It's so surprising, honestly. Though I know there are certain things going on in our country. Yes, we know. But this aspect
Did
of
you see the
renting
notice
wife,
of? Did you did you see the write-up of my mama? She said I asked him if he wanted to rent a wife, and he said no, one was enough.
that's disgusting.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, ma'am, what I can tell you is that these things did not happen in your time. And I believe that Steve and other men are finding this strange, so strange. And I will use the word of our brother, Dr. Unjum, that this is spiritual poverty. A spiritual poverty that has confronted the whole world. So difficult to imagine. Because the sister that sends this message to me was taken by surprise, hearing the news of how a woman is rented out for some weeks, for some months, and maybe a year. And so, what are we really taking women to be? What are we taking women for? The big question is this the will of God? Was a woman designed to be rented? How do we come to this level of life we are living here? Do we have the morals? Where is the humanity in us? And whoever is preparing to be a rental wife, maybe to be a rental girlfriend, or to be a rental husband, we may not have enough information or idea or advice to support you. But I would like to say, from what I learned when I was a child, that in the beginning, God made them husband and wife. Even the world we live in here, we are not renting the world. God created us and instructed us to enjoy this world and to be a blessing. So I'm not fighting against the cultural practices of these countries, and like a country here that says, this very country that says that they are renting women to harness women's economical potential. And I don't want to mention a country here. Some husbands also agree to rent their wives to rich tourists.
I
So
know.
these ones are not single women, but a husband rent a wife to a tourist that is
I
visiting
know about that.
their country. So where are we heading to? Anyway, I will write a proposal. If you believe this company can be a good business where you are, I would like to register it, and let's see what will happen between now and December.
You must have a sponsor. You must definitely have a sponsor.
Do not forget, even if you're a manager there will be some customers that want to rent the manager.
I would never want to manage this kind of business, doctor. Yes, it's a very great height of greediness. Yes.
Delegate.
Apart from the spiritual poverty that he talked about, is the great height of greediness in one's life. We are not contented. We want it by all means. Yes, and we don't even consider the consequences of it. Yes. I understand well.
The world we are in now, I'm sorry to say, nobody considers the consequences of anything anymore. Nobody cares about anything. Nobody can even tell you stop, don't do it. How long since you hear people telling one another, don't do it? Nobody's saying that again. And what happened is people use their camera phone to video record what you are doing, and that's all. They post it for pleasure. So nobody is able to tell you, if you fight, good. People pick their phone, record the scene, and then post it for their own enjoyment. So nobody in this present world is ready to tell you, don't die, don't kill yourself, don't do this, don't. If you are blessed to have few people that tell you, don't do it, in fact, stick to that person, because they are not much anymore. So here, I don't know what advice you have, but sincerely, I don't have any advice here. I'm just sharing information to the people around us that it has come to stay. That for you to know, you can rent a wife. It will help you to escape the privilege of being a married man and the stress of marriage. You can rent. It depends. If you rent, she's not good, you return 3 days, and then you get your money refunded. You can
Look for another baby.
you can get your money refunded, or the company will exchange the one you return for another one, or they ask you to come and select, make it your choice, and then you have all the freedom, and then the woman takes care of your domestic work, be a wife for the days that she's with, and takes care of emotional programs around you. Everything that want to make you emotional, the woman is capable. She's been trained. So now we'll be back again, and that will be 9 p.m. My good people. Thank you, Mama Jane Melo, for being a part of this program and your contribution. I salute Dr. Emily Unjum for your wonderful contribution, and I cherish it so much. Thank you so much. And Aaron, what do you have to say? Maybe the final for now about what you've heard.
I don't really have any advice, because before you see any woman accept to do this, she has really made up her mind, because they know that this is a better business, but because they have already made up their mind, and just like my pastor will say, that you cannot advise a rich man that he or she will do what they want to do. So I don't really have what to tell them. In fact, I am really speechless. So, but I pray it will not get to us. That's my prayer.
Well, Aaron, from what I'm hearing now, there is a message here. Somebody wants to rent you for 2 weeks.
Tell the person I am not available. I am more than that. Tell the person that I said I have my own man. I am not available at all. I have my own man. Tell the person thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everyone.
Goodness.
Thank you. I'll be back. Thank you.
Chaos and me.